here to round 6 at Hockenheim here in Germany. Of course, midweek racing, Tuesday night racing at its best, Tier 2. And tonight joining me, of course, a very familiar voice, a guy who decided to hang up his racing boots and grab a microphone again. Welcome, Mr. Not Fernando.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hockenheim. We're for round 6. Supposed to be out there on track, but decided to return to the comm box for this one.
Of course,
something we should just remember going into this race. Germany, a bit of a tricky race and a tricky track, and the game just lately. You know, going into this race, I think you should be expecting some safety cars. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. No lap times as of yet, but a lot of guys are on that out lap. 10 of your drivers out on track of the possible 15.
Of course, just there at the bottom you will see Zappa Wilbes. If I'm not mistaken, that is a new person. Probably that's your replacement, Mr. Not Fernando. He's driving the same car at least.
Seems to be my replacement. He has not yet done a lap time. Wish him all the best. Hope he can get some points for Renault. He's got a fantastic teammate there. Yeah, it's really quick. Pushed me in qualifying right through rounds 1 to 5. The gaps between us wasn't much so long as the track stayed dry. You all know my race strategy, and all of that other stuff goes completely out the window when the rain starts to fall and everything becomes just try to stay on track.
Especially a track like this.
It's like similar conditions in Tier 1 and Tier 2 actually, both these like overcast, gloomy.
It's kind of like a Hockenheim feature.
Yeah, it's both. I've actually got both streams on here, and looks like the same race. It's same conditions.
Steph found his entertainment for the night. Obviously, he finds it a hell of a funny for Raptor being kicked out of a lobby by accident. Quentin already on it, 112. Wow, we're already in the fast laps, just like last week. First time out already last week in Q1, the guys posted like mean laps. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Of course, 15 drivers, so all 15 actually will make it through to Q2. No need to really push at this stage, because everybody will make it through. Save your car, save your energy and stuff for the next 2 sessions.
That is definitely advice I could have used last week, Johan.
And funny enough, I said that on the stream, and I actually say it every week. And just as I said that, you went out and bang, you had a misfortune with that barrier. Oh, whoa, that Manu Dietrich just went to the outside to take a better line into the corner just as a faster car approached. But luckily nothing came of it, and his current lap isn't invalidated. Last thing I want to do is hamper another guy's lap here.
Top 3 at the moment, Quinton.
Staffy did a 113.2. Can I believe that, Staff? Where's for proof?
Nick and Cowboy, let me just try to get some. I'll try to get some confirmation for you on that.
Hockenheim without traction. I can only imagine. My word, it's going to be a tough one.
Okay, I can confirm that.
Oh, well done, Steph.
Steffi did a 113.0 flat. It was good enough for 6th place in Q1, and he has then retired from the session. Obviously happy with his time.
113.2 would have put him here in 3rd place. And here goes Raptor. Raptor 112.3, taking the fight there to Quinton. If Raptor can pull it together and he pulls his head out of his you-know-what, I actually expect Raptor to be right there with Quinton and Nick, so we can have a freeway fight for the race tonight.
My replacement there, The
fifth at the
Zappa,
moment, yeah.
currently fifth, a 1:14.0. Nice, nice
Making
lap
that
to
Renault look good.
Start off proceedings.
Steph, by the way, what's the weather prediction there by you? And for those tier 2 drivers listening to the stream, guys, anyone with a weather update, please?
Let us know.
Wow. The fastest lap there is a 1:12.0. We got a 1:12.3.
We should expect any rain as this session continues.
It's very dark.
Currently provisional pole in tier 1, that's a 1:12.0, and then over here it's a 1:12.3.
Wow,
nothing
that's
wrong
new.
with that.
Fuck, Staffy really wanted to rain tonight. He didn't look at the weather report. Wow, that's a first. That's actually that's a feature that they can actually work on. Because now, as you can see, we got the map and stuff, got some extra little nitty gritty stuff here. But maybe just some weather forecast stuff that you can also share with the people streaming, then we also know what's happening and what's predicted. Might just make it stream also more interesting.
Just from a commentator's perspective, I mean, I know in some cars you don't need all of the information you're given, but like in project cars it even gives you the track temperature. So
I just want weather report. Just give me an idea if it's going to rain or not.
I just need that basic, you know, let me press a button that takes me to that little open a little window with that basic weather report that you get when you're a driver. Just that little piece that shows you, and that's all I need. And you see, you won't be going into the race so blind.
Thanks, Quentin. Quentin confirming that it is going to be a dry race for tier 2.
Botha, currently on provisional pole here in tier 2. He's followed by Quentin, not too far behind Nam Assassin.
And perhaps even more camera angles for broadcasting would be nice.
Nick is on another outlap, looking to improve on that 1:13.4, like you mentioned earlier. If it's not completely necessary to be out there.
But I see he's on a different tyre at the moment.
Not really sure why.
Exactly, it's a bit weird because what's the point? You're already through, why gonna, unless he of course wants a bit more practice. Because of course with no practice session, this is ultimately your practice as well.
The only problem really is now if you use the medium now, you're going to take that option away from yourself in Q2.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for the confirmation as well here. Confirming dry race, dry quali. So even if the weather looks like it can rain any time, it's going to stay dry. Nick and I see Oldie Bones also on track. Rotor. Of course, saw DBR. We saw Oldie Bones and we saw Manu Dietrich on this past Friday evening, actually driving a little bit there for with the TNB league. Nice to see the interaction between the two different leagues, because obviously a couple of Turbos and Bullets guys also here and in tier 1. So it's nice to see these guys actually supporting each other in their different leagues. Oh wow, Mackets went 1:11.9. That's the current fastest lap in tier 1.
Getting updates from tier 1, Mackett and Duxter actually holding on to first and second for the time being. So we've got a Ferrari all front row, I believe. In might be about 20 seconds delayed, but so far that's a Ferrari front row.
Alpine left the session. And no time set. That might be a disconnect.
Over here in tier 2, it's all about Alfa Romeo at the moment. 12.3 fastest car on the track. That's Raptor. He's
4 on ahead of Toro Rosso of Quentin.
He's out on circuit again.
Not sure why would you want to go out. Why bother you? Just wait your turn. It looks like the impatience are getting the better of the guys. And then something happens like last week with you.
Basically, last week I made a big mistake on my first run. I forgot to used my ERS for my fast lap. So basically, when I got to sector 3, I realized that, and I had another run because I wanted to see what I could do. There was clearly so much more time in that car, and yeah, I didn't. I was about 1.7 seconds up on my delta when that happened, so I wasn't too impressed.
Of course, for all of you who are watching, by all means, guys, this is just a reminder. Feel free there to join in the chat. Please share your comments. Always nice to hear from you. It also makes the conversation a bit not so one-sided, if I can. At least I've got a co-commentator tonight, but still, please feel free to share, post your comments there and be part of the chat.
Sweet.
Hello, Mr. CBR.
Myself and my Renault teammate Avalash up to round 5, we were pretty close in the timing, and I see now the driver that's taken my Renault, he's doing a fantastic job of holding on to his teammate, just a tenth of not even a tenth of a second hop in between those two.
Those guys are just, yeah, that's
400th of a second between the Renaults.
But we will still see as this qualifying session progress how he improves or not. Raptor had a purple first sector there. See what he's doing here. Final corners coming around now. And does he? And he does improve for 112.0.
Just nailing in those times. Still on provisional pole.
Wow, I remember a time. Of course, in 2017, probably 2017, maybe 2018. I remember time driving here with Raptor. Of course, at the time a different PSN. I mean, we were doing midfield battles constantly. Now he's right up here with the fast guys.
I remember when he actually joined us right in the beginning, and he was.
But Raptor has actually been in and out. He's been around. He actually drove with you guys on more than one occasion here in Tier 1, like just Tier 2. It looks like you guys might not have noticed him. It's just obviously Raptor didn't do a lot of finishing. Of course, there was a couple of crashes as well, or maybe he made a mistake, lost his cool, rage quit. It happens, but I promise you he was with you guys before. He's definitely not a newcomer.
And obviously his job does involve being away for long periods of time from home, so sometimes he will miss 3 or 4 consecutive rounds.
And then return.
It's just the way it goes, but
because of work commitments.
He will come back and he's probably the one guy on the grid that he's not at work. You don't have to worry about consistency. He'll be there. I find it strange
for guys saying they never seen him, and yet Raptor's been here. But do yourself a favor, go check the stream, go check those videos or streams from the previous races. I promise you will see his name.
Go look at the Tier 2 lineup that was originally posted there. You'll find his name.
But that's not even an understatement. You're actually spot on. Because bearing in mind, me and you, and of course Johnny, we all work during the day like normal. Then obviously while we're at work, he sits in front of his PS practicing, and this is obviously paying off. That's the lap times that you see for practicing.
Very nicely done, a 112.0, and this is just Q1, don't forget these
and Staffy just confirming what we said as well, but he can also watch the stream. Staffy watch the stream and he see him every week. And I mean, if Staffy can see him, trust me, everybody will see him. But then again, Staffy have like a bullseye there on Raptor, so Staffy will spot Raptor 1,000 miles away from a 10,000 crowd.
Q1 has come to an end over in Tier 1, so we're about 3.5 minutes behind. Just to confirm the results over on that side, Dirk's actually in an Alfa Romeo. He took fastest in Q1, followed by Mackett in the Ferrari, and then Jacques.
If that happens, you don't really pay attention to the guys around you and whose name is on what car. Don't worry, it happens. Quentin still there in second. Nam Assassin currently third with Nick now in fourth. Not a lot between them. Because the biggest gap there really is that Raptor Quentin gap. But of course Quentin will not go out now and risk it all. He's done his part, he's through to the next session, wait for that session, and then of course push like crazy. Yeah, Maupa, it looks like you're the one who might have disconnected, yeah, because everyone else is fine. It was nice to see Maupa back tonight, and unfortunately, here we go, disconnect. Of course, missed the race last week, but he did join the stream, posted a couple of comments all the way there from Austria last week, so I must say welcome back, Maupai. Let's hope you can rejoin. Okay, people, if somebody listens, please can someone send Maupai an invite, please? To tier 2, of course.
I'd like to have old Staffy and old Raptor on the same circuit. Could be quite interesting if you look. I'm just saying, I don't want to start a controversy, but if you look at their lap times,
sure.
The one set a 112.000, the other one set a 112.0.95. So
Yes,
900ths of a second,
yes,
and
very much
they're very close to each other's pace. Just unfortunately on the same racetrack, but a different lobby.
Come, people, somebody send Maupai an invite, please. Oh, the back end steps out there for DBR. Luckily, managed to bring it back, and dives into the pits. Luckily, no barriers. Oh, but as I say that, he actually made contact with a barrier. Luckily, the wheel stayed on, and looks like a bit of lag there as well.
Just have the 15 runners, so no one should be eliminated, unless we see some silly retirements towards the end of the session. But no one should be eliminated, so Maupai should still be able to join in Q2. But if anyone is listening,
even if the start of Q2, see, they can maybe invite. Hopefully, might be pulled through. We saw it before. I see Raptor backing himself there. He says if a dog can bring it on, he is ready for him. He will beat him. Just over 30 seconds to go. No change in front as yet. Like a close battle there with Avalanche, Cowboy and Zappa. And you can actually chuck in Nick there as well. They're all pretty much in that 113's, couple of tens apart. Okay, there we go. Maupai has joined, so let's see what happens in Q2. Just waiting for Avalanche to finish his lap.
Now comes into the pits, and that should be the end of qualifying.
Okay, Maupai qualifying is over, so maybe that might be preventing you from joining. So let's just see when Q2 starts what's happening.
Just give it another try in Q2, and if that doesn't work, the only thing I can recommend is completely restarting the system, and then just having another go at the lobby. That usually works. But should be able to join in Q2 because no one was eliminated from that session.
So waiting there we go. Avalanche retires, and this brings Q1 officially to an end. Just confirmation, of course, positions they finished as we just saw a minute ago. And from this angle, it looks like Maupai and Bulldog will still be there as well. No elimination showing there next to their names, of course, which is that little bracket at the end.
Yeah, they should be going through, but that top three, Raptor followed by Quinton, followed by Nam Assassin. Obviously, everybody going through. These times don't mean too much. Going to Q2, it's going to be a little bit more important.
Correct.
We're gonna lose 5 drivers at the end of the next session, as well as you need to start thinking about your race at this point and what tire you want to start the race on, because that's what you need to do your fastest lap with. It's
There
a
we
bit
go.
touch and
There's
go
a bit
if you
of, there's a
wanna.
couple of guys showing their strategy. So you can see, of course, Safwan Quinton, no surprise. And he's probably also going to be the guy to go out first again. Now it looks like we actually got a Red Bull there fighting up. Here we go, Red Bull going out.
Guys showing their eagerness to get
And
out
there
on
goes,
circuit.
and there goes what I think is, yeah, let's just have a look. Quinton should be there, he's for 1 second on track showing. That's definitely the Toro Rosso there behind, of course, DBR. Malpai's left the session, oh no. Malpai, maybe that advisor, not Fernando, gave you maybe something you must try. Rather quickly restart everything and just rejoin that way again.
Still 14 minutes basically. Can do that reset and still get in the lobby and set a lap time. Will be a bit cramped, but it is possible. We've got a few guys out on circuit. I think it's 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, good couple
Yeah,
of guys
9
on
cars,
outlap.
nine cars out on circuit. First one of which will be Nick. Will be the first man over the line. He will be closely followed.
Sorry,
Toro
not
Rosso.
RH, Nick, yeah. Nick and of course Quinton right behind him. That's the two in front.
I know it's AlphaTauri, but I won't be calling it that until
Not as
the
yet.
game until the game says so.
For the sake of 2019, we will still refer to it as Toro Rosso.
Doesn't look like an AlphaTauri. An AlphaTauri is a very different looking car.
It's more predominantly white. And not the predominant blue like what we got used to the last couple of seasons with Toro Rosso.
All I'm saying is, look at that.
Quinton going slow, allowing a couple of guys to come past. And perhaps
I'm saying
a little mistake there, bailed out of it. He's going to give it another go.
If you have a look at Nick, he's in that 2019 Red Bull, and just have a good look at that Red Bull and have another look at that AlphaTauri. That AlphaTauri is very much 2019 Red Bull inspired. And as for the pink Merc, what can I say?
And the funny thing is, and as you confirmed earlier just tonight, I mean, look at all the controversy and people making hoo-ha about a brilliant engineering feat on the Merc, and as a supplier to Racing Point, actually Racing Point have the option of actually buying that as well from Merc, and chose not to. Nika 112.9.
They asked one of the guys from Racing Point, and he says, well, if you look, there's a list of parts and things that we can acquire from Mercedes-Benz, and then there's things that we can't acquire from Mercedes-Benz, but that is not on the list that is under not. So technically yes, we can, but we chose not to. So for the time being, the thing is, it's already been outlawed for 2021. So if you're going to develop it, it's for this season. So if it's worth 2/10 and you're at the front and you think that 2/10 is going to get you to Merc, then absolutely. But if 2/10 isn't going to do it for you,
but 2/10 might be actually seeing them into Q3 more often. Because 2/10 might be all it takes.
Could really switch that midfield around. But as things stand, Racing Point's very confident going into 2020, and they believe they are the fourth.
It looks good. It looks good.
They believe they're the fourth best car, and actually made quite an outlandish statement on Friday, I believe it was. They said that they definitely believe they're the fourth best car. They're the best in the midfield, and with some of the performance and some of the data they've seen, they believe that they'll even be able to hold on to the Ferraris and potentially the Red Bulls. So clearly not going after Merc, because Merc will just take all their stuff back. But we're confiscating this. Bring back that contract. We need to make a few few adjustments. Well, that's actually a scary thought if 2021 rolls around and Aston Martin Racing is basically a replica of Mercedes Racing, and you've just got these 4 extremely fast cars. So
Ferrari goes fourth for now.
Ferrari's problem's just getting bigger.
Hey, I think Ferrari's biggest problem is on the inside.
I'm a hopeful Ferrari fan. I obviously just love the abuse, because I mean I'm also a Proteus fan, so there's clearly something wrong with me. But
okay, your team played bad.
Something tells me, something inside is just telling me that Ferrari somehow they need to come. They're gonna show up tomorrow with a B spec. They're gonna show up tomorrow, and everyone's gonna take a second look and be like, "Wait a second, that's not the car they had here." I've just seen. If you look at Merc, Merc has been like that for a long time. But if you look at Renault, if you look at Red Bull, if you look at Racing Point, they all went for this much more compact front, and Ferrari just really modded last year's wing. So if that's all they've done, I'm not very impressed. But let's see if all that pre-season talk of a B-spec car
I know
really does come to light.
There's big emphasis on next year, but still, just to sit back and not really trying this year. I mean, there's Merc. I mean, everybody's talking about that engineering. But what did we expect? Merc to just sit still for these guys to catch up? Of course it's not going to happen.
What's frustrating for me is you've got a guy like Charles Leclerc, who's obviously hungry. He wants to win races. He wants to win championships. And he's in a Ferrari, so he should have the potential to do it, but
Ferrari's downfall are internal nonsense. Their own management team, that's what cost them. The decision making in that team is just absolutely, it's something else.
If you look at if you look back in the history of Formula One, you've always had, in most teams anyway, you've always had the one driver who's clearly the more experienced or the better, and then the one he knows he's lucky to be there. And Ferrari had that for a very long time. Okay, they had Michael Schumacher and Irvine.
Yeah, Quentin, I'm going to say nah. Wow, Raptor goes fastest by, oh my word, 1,000.
That's a 112.9.
And that's with mediums.
112, that is impressive. A 112.965 versus a 112.966. 1,000th of a second. It's basically the smallest frame of time this game can record.
That's the smallest by definitely. Wow.
That is the smallest decimal of time that this game is able to record, and that is the only thing that separates those two cars, which is, it actually messes with your mind a little bit. It would have been brilliant if it was the same, but that would have put Raptor in second.
Yeah.
Obviously just Q2. Those
over
laps
6 minutes ago, yeah.
Just
to set some lap times. Of course, this is all about really selecting the tire you're going to start with. So the real thing is coming. But those 114s should all be safe. 112s are definitely safe, even those 113s.
Like you said, Raptor did that 112.9 on a set of mediums. So he's got absolutely nothing to worry about. He probably knows there's another 1.1 or even 1.2 seconds in those softs.
Of course, so, first Friday night here at TNB, of course, Brittany and not Kimi were actually taking the fight to each other in qualifying, and he and not Kimi pretty much were in first and second. Not Kimi took the pole, and I was looking forward to a brilliant tussle between the two carrying over from qualifying. But just as the race was about to start, Raptor had a disconnect, and that was the end of that battle. Internet stealing a nice battle, we're robbing us from a nice battle.
Q2 has come to an end in Tier 1. So again, we're just a little bit behind.
Okay,
actually falling a little bit more behind, it seems. We were 3.5 minutes behind, now we're 4.5 minutes behind. But Mackett was fastest in Q2, followed by Vino and Ranger.
I think Pat here, because Pat is going on about Raptor there, going fastest on the mediums. I'm just saying, yeah, Pat, maybe it's something that we need to look at rewriting the rulebook. Excessive practice is forbidden.
Just for the update on the tires there in T1, Ranger in third, he was on a set of softs, but Vino in second, Mackett in first, both on a set of mediums. Their times were 1:12.2 and a 1:12.7.
Yeah, some of these guys really go fast on the mediums compared to the soft.
Back here in Tier 2,
so Raptor has... time this time. He had to, otherwise he might not have. At the moment, of course, just want to do this so that you can see. There. If you look at the top 9, only one lap was done on the soft, and that was Nick. Provisionally the pole at, fastest lap at that time until Raptor came along. But out of your top 9, only Nick on the soft. The rest of the guys posted those laps on mediums.
Means
a lot of guys went for the slower tyre and they actually ended up faster.
Could find himself with a bit of a handful at the start of the race. He's obviously going to have the superior tyre, but with Q3 will say where he lands up starting. But obviously everyone's going to throw in the softs on in the next qualifying session. And
looks like there's a purple second sector. What can he get out of his mediums?
How much do you reckon is the difference, medium soft? About a second?
More or less.
Anyone
depending on the track as well, but it's more or less in that second range. Manu just coming around. What can Manu do?
Look at that, actually in the top 10. Top 10 now. Only Nick on the softs.
Correct. Top 10 are pretty much 9 out of 10 is medium.
Can't really do anything about that now.
Just showing tonight that the medium is not necessarily a bad tyre to go out, and it's actually not a bad strategy.
Really not. Just depends on the racetrack. I mean, there's certain racetracks that the hard doesn't feel that bad. You can go around quite a while on that tyre and feel fine. And then there's other tracks where the soft just doesn't last at all. So
of course, don't rule out safety car, because safety car also change things around.
Since the previous or the latest patch that came out for this game, they made some modifications to the amount of times the safety car comes out, and now it seems to be a little bit on the sensitive side. Especially if
coming out for nothing. Oh, and we've got a Merc there off, rotor just running wide for into the gravel. But Manu is past unscathed.
I actually saw a safety car activated yesterday. Full safety car, obviously. And the minimum a safety car is out there is 3 laps. It's not out there for any shorter than that. So,
correct.
And do you know what it was for? It was for a spin. There was a car that spun. It immediately ghosted, because when the person spun, he saw cars coming towards him, so just paused it. Obviously ghosted. The cars drove through him, but that caused the safety. And
a little too sensitive.
So it's a little bit too sensitive, but and it's still a little bit off, if you ask me. I mean, I've seen like that. You'll have a guy with a silly spin causing a safety car, and then you'll have another guy that bashes into the wall, lands in the middle of the track, and just disappears and doesn't cause a safety car. So see, now we're getting to the end of Q2. Guys just doing their final laps. DBR, he's out on a fast lap.
Look at Oldie Bones and Rotor, look at that time, and of course Oldie Bones is on the safe side, Rotor's on the unsafe side.
Bones
time officially gone. DBR, Numbledog, Oldie Bones and Rotor out on laps.
Rota desperately trying to make his claim for the top 10. He set that lap time of 1:14.5.
Oldie Bones coming into the pits. He will probably hope that Rota is not going to make any inroads here. But Rota is also coming out. Rota then is going to be eliminated. Oldie Bones will see it through to Q3.
If the advantage wasn't going to be enough, probably really wanted to start on those mediums. But I think he was on a set of softs. He could have gone seriously up that order.
Could have definitely went up there, but as it is, Rota, Manu Dietrich, CBR, Pat, Easytronics and Malpai pretty much will be the eliminated drivers here.
Your 5 eliminated drivers. I'll leave you with a top 10. Raptor, Nick, Quinton, Cowboy, Avalash, Nam Assassin, DBR, Zapper, Nam Bulldog, and Oldie Bones. I can't say Zapper without laughing because I just know it's a bad idea.
Zappa, thinking of a drink.
Yeah, I know. Zappa's just never a good idea, so I can't say Zappa with a straight face.
Because it brings back some memories to you.
It's just your results, and
Just
in case you didn't notice, or in case you didn't hear us ranting about it, look at the gap between first and second. 1,000th of a second between the Alfa Romeo.
That all doesn't
and,
matter anymore. It's what comes next, of course. Who's going to have that 1,000 or whatever gap now? That's going to determine pole.
So Oldie Bones did get into that top 10. But he did it on a set of softs. So he's going to start the race on a set of softs, as is Nick.
Correct. The only guys in the top 10.
Rest of the top 10 will start on mediums, and then obviously the guys who got eliminated, they're going to have freedom of choice.
We said earlier safety car, but also keep in mind penalties, as we saw last week in Italy as well. How that penalties can actually turn your race upside down as well, because penalties will come into play at the end.
This track's actually a bit touch and go, especially on this game. Noticed from 2018 to 2019 that turn 1 in Germany, if you're going for a fast lap, you can really cut that corner quite aggressively, and the game doesn't penalize you for it.
You cut on the inside, it doesn't do, but if you run wide, it penalizes you.
That's just what I was going to say. You can, on the inside, there's like a German flag. You can basically just about nick that German flag, and the game won't catch you. You can really cut that corner. You just got to be so careful on the exit.
Nick left the session.
You run wide. That'll be that. Does it 12, just 11 minutes to get back in. It's in Q3. Hope he can get back into the
out
session.
There, followed by Quinton, the two fast guys. I want to have a go at each other there. Like I say, Nick has left the session. Let's hope he can rejoin.
Now we're in Q3. The sandbagging is done. And now we're going to see everybody on their fastest tire, on their lowest fuel, giving it everything they can. And now we'll see who's really got the pace. Over in Q1, Q3 well underway, just 4 minutes remaining over there. Currently on provisional pole, Mackett followed by Jacques and Vino, Gavin in 4th.
Wow, Jacques there as well.
No lap times on this side just yet. We watch Raptor as he goes over the line. He starts his fast lap. His quickest in Q1, quickest in Q2 by 1,000th of a second.
But
now seems to be slowing.
Yeah, invalidated lap time.
Just slowing up. Maybe just
one
throw
of those
that.
Corners.
If you've got enough fuel, throw that car into lean and switch the ERS off and have another go.
Correct, save it. Save the ERS and everything, yeah.
The only thing is if you've put in the minimum amount of fuel, you're not going to have enough for that second flyer. So, don't really know if he does or if he doesn't. We'll see when he goes over the line. Another guy to watch. Toro Rosso, Quinton. Been quick all season. He now enters the stadium section. One of the only original parts of the Hockenheim ring.
Of course, Jonathan, you can just refresh my memory here, but Toro is pretty much bull, isn't it?
Yeah, Toro means bull.
So I can say here, Quinton with his Toro Rosso, we can call it, say actually, Quinton we can call the Sabi Toro.
Quinton goes fastest
111.8. Wow.
with the fastest lap we've seen so far. That's a 111.8. Nicely done.
Done
Haven't
by
seen
the
any
Sabi
other
Toro.
laps. Avalanche still in the pits, no
Sabi
movement
Bull.
there from Renault. Both Renaults still sitting in the pits.
Then he wrapped this out there again. He got a better first drive now. Let's see what happens. No confirmation in the first sector. Yellow flag.
Goes through sector, in the middle of sector 2. Let's see if he can set a decent lap time.
Nick has rejoined.
You're probably going to find he's going to have after this he'll go in, throw in a fresh set and have another go. First lap obviously didn't go according to plan, and then on this one
112 and then Calvo 113.0 and DBR 113.8.
Big gap at the front so far. 0.8 of a second, cover first and second.
Raptor's not setting the timing screen so light at the moment.
Raptor now, he's going to go over the line to set his first lap time of the session.
And as I say, that he actually goes faster, it's 111.79.
That's a 111.7.
Wow.
And I think he can go faster.
I also believe he can.
Because obviously that first lap he was winding down to give it everything. He got an invalidated lap because he was just pushing a little too hard.
With a 5-pace grid penalty collision with Avalanche.
That's not good. The two Renault boys making contact hasn't been the best.
Raptor's just going
the best
now,
season for that. I've also made contact with my Renault teammates.
He's out of ERS, so he's probably going to go back, put in a new set of tyres, have one more go.
Ablash now been involved with altercations with Zappa and myself. I think it was back in China.
Doesn't matter who's his teammate. He's breaking the golden rule of F1. Do not take out your teammate. Well, he likes getting to know his teammates a little closer.
Well, Max Verstappen doesn't like that rule. Just ask Danny Ricciardo.
Yeah, but we don't care about Max Verstappen.
Avalash, he's out on circuit. Sector 1, there is a yellow flag. Not sure what's happening out there. Yellow flag has been cleared. Avalash now starts a quick lap. Needs to get a lap time on the board. No lap times for Renault just yet. Nick on an out lap, so looking for his first lap. You see Nick left the lobby
but
at
he did
the
manage
start
to
of the
reclaim his
season.
car.
Of the session, sorry, he's been able to come back in, so...
Oh, invalidated lap. You see, that's what we just spoke about. You just run that slight bit of wide there on that outer corner, you know, into turn 1. You just go a little bit too wide and it's invalidated. But like you say, you can cut the inside and with some margin. Quite a weird one. You just need to get it right.
So Raptor has returned to the pits, currently the fastest man on circuit of 111.79. Still think he can go a bit quicker than that. I'm sure he's plotting right now, putting on some fresh set of softs and just watching that track map, looking for some space.
Quentin is out.
Get it ideal.
You will be trying to improve.
On that fast lap of Raptors, he didn't necessarily get traffic, anybody that affected his lap, but there were cars on track, and I know for myself that can put you off in the slightest way. And if we're talking about tenths of a second, I think he's got more. If he can just get a clean lap with no one around him, I think it's going to show us even more.
Let's see what happens.
Q3 has come to a close in Tier 1. Mac did take pole position on that side. And what a lap time coming from Tier 1. That was a 111.0.7. He was followed by Jacques with a 111.3 and Vino for real. That was the
it's like Nick said, the purple first sector. Nick is on it. Raptor should get a move on if you want to get out there and have enough time. Just under 4.5 minutes to go.
Going to be an interesting race between the Toro Rosso, the Alpha, and potentially the Red Bull if Nick can get a decent time in here. Showed he had pace in Q2. See what he can come up with.
Purple for second sector. Just need to get a clean last sector here.
Goes over the line.
And
third.
third, 112.2. Not so
Nicely
bad. Oh,
done.
I'm just going to get an invalidated lap here. Just too much of a corner on the inside.
He's
Quentin
gonna
goes
back
fast
off
as a
now.
111.7. 7.72. Where if
Look at
Raptors in a 7.95.
200th of a second covering the top two. Raptor is out on circuit. He's on an out lap. As you can see, not using his DRS down the straight, just taking it easy for now. Does have a car in front of him, crucially, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Just need to try and... I know it's difficult to do, but look at that track map before you leave the pits and just
That's it.
try and find a space. Just giving himself space now in the stadium section, going very slowly. He wants that car to clear away. He doesn't want to catch him on the lap. The problem is you slow down too much in that final sector, and when you want to start giving it, those tires aren't up to temperature in turn one, and the worst thing you can do is run wide. So
Invalidated lap, too much of a corner.
took too much on the inside. Now he's backing off completely. Does he have, hopefully like the first time,
You can't
needs to have
back
enough
it.
fuel in the car?
You can't back in back off too much, otherwise you will not be able to come back in time.
He's got 2 minutes on the clock, so he should be able to get around, start another lap time, and then I suppose it doesn't really matter if you have fuel, because you don't need that fuel to get back to the pits. He just needs to have enough fuel to get over the line.
Correct.
Put that car up into max, put that ERS as high as you can possibly go. You can see just giving himself room. He knows there's cars around him and he needs an empty track. Over in tier 1 they are on their formation lap. So that
Just
race
under 1.5 minutes to go here.
That race has gotten underway. Over here we're still waiting to see if Raptor can pull off something pretty special. He's entering the stadium section now, and he'll just be praying that nobody pops out of that pit exit. Nobody should. Just a minute remaining on the clock. If you were coming out of the pits now,
Here we go, Raptor now going for it.
Goes over the line now.
Can you have a better drive into the first corner this time round?
Right on board with him. He goes into turn 1. Doesn't want to take
There we
too
go,
much.
much better.
Just right. I feel like he just backed off a little bit more than he wanted to. Last thing he wanted was a corner cut. Now, yeah, you just open it up, activate DRS, and give it everything it's got.
It's over in the first sector.
Crucial braking point coming up. Goes down into first, hits the apex of the corner, nice exit. Looks like a good lap so far, but if he's going to beat a 1:11.7, it's going to have to be something really special. A bit of grass there on the right. Don't think he lost any time there. And here we are, we're entering sector 3, we're entering also the stadium section. 2/10 up on his time, so not going any faster. He's going to have to do something really special here in sector 3. And I think he's backed off. Yeah, he's backed off. Backed off. He's happy with the front row. Looks like that's where he'll be starting unless Avalash pulls off a shocker. It's just a 1/10 of a second behind Nick. But could still... Seems like he's backed off completely. So Avalash also accepting the 4th place. 2nd row on the grid. Nothing wrong with that. Teammate down in 8th. He will obviously start down the order gets a 5 grid place penalty. Start in 13th. Just wait now for Avalanche, last man on circuit. Obviously gonna come into the pits. Avalanche, you can hear me. Just retire on your controller, otherwise everyone's gonna have to watch those Renault mechanics
come out and
slowly turn your car and push it into the garage. And well, will you look at that? That's exactly what we're watching. There we go. We'll just don't take your time with that. There we go.
And he actually retired. There we go.
And he's retired. So we'll be going into the race. Let's just go through your results really quickly. Quinton took pole position from Raptor, not much of a gap there at all. Then Nick in third, Avalanche fourth, Nam Bulldog came out in fifth, Nam Assassin in sixth, a lot of Nams there actually. Then seventh is Cowboy, Zappa eighth. Obviously he's got that 5 grid place penalty, means DBR will be promoted to 8th, Oldie Bones will be promoted to 9th. And yeah, that's your top 10.
Yeah,
let's see what happens in Germany.
We got the 3 quicker boys there right in front, so yeah, that should be interesting start.
I've seen Raptor show superior pace in Q1 and Q2, just wasn't really able to get the right lap time together in Q3 and get all the right circumstances to work out for him. The guys will line up on the grid. They will have a little menu just to go through their strategy real quick and finish things up. Doesn't take as long as Project Cars 2.
Not true that.
But guys just finishing up. Guys that aren't in the top 10 obviously selecting what tyre they're going to start the race on. And then she's just having a look at your pit stop strategies. Is it 1, is it 2, what are you going to do?
It's a 3, it's a 4, it's a 5, it's a 6.
Here we go, countdown is done.
Nice and sunny, there we
go.
We go. And formation lap is, there we go, underway we go.
Formation
nice
lap.
Nice and sunny, that's how we like it.
Everybody just gets around on their formation lap. Want to see any drama.
Nice hole, nice for 34 laps to go. Hello, John.
Sorry?
I say John, you says hi, so I'm saying hello.
So obviously Quinton will start this race from pole position.
I still believe these 3 at the front just going to give each other a good go. Saw it in previous races, especially if I say that, Hungary comes to mind.
I'm not even commentating in Tier 1 and Gavin crashed. But over on the side we're waiting for the guys to come around through the stadium section so that they can line up back on the grid. And we can get this race underway. It's going to be 34 laps.
No, John, it's an unranked lobby. It's one of those custom lobbies. We create the lobby based on our rules and stuff as set out in the league rules.
Have 2 individuals.
Decided to have an early finisher.
Williams and a Mercedes. Now, while a lot of people say, you know, who cares, you know, you go back to the grid and you start anyway, that is just a good example of what never to do behind the safety car.
Correct.
But there we go, we're just going to wait for these lights to light up. I'm sure you know the drill. We're going to get 5 red lights, they're going to disappear, and we're going to be underway.
Racing.
There we go.
Quentin have a good getaway. Raptor as well. Nick is trying on the outside. Raptor defending on the inside. Huge cut,
Took a
but Nick runs
lot
wide
of
as well.
corner. A lot of corner on the inside there.
That's it, Nick ran wide, but also had a better line. Nick is going to sneak it. Oh, and the Williams and Ferrari there of Non-Bulldog and Avalanche, a bit of contact. Non-Bulldog was sniffing on the inside, outside. Avalanche right on Raptor's tail.
Fantastic. This is exactly what we need to see in real Formula One. For a second there, we had the top 6 for 6 different manufacturers.
Very much still like it. You can actually go in the top 7 when you actually have 7 different constructors there.
Yeah, it's the top 7. It's actually Toro Rosso, Red Bull.
Well, now if you change it even 8, even the top 8, then you can actually see different cars, 8 different cars in the top 8.
That would be quite impressive if the top 8 was made up of 8 manufacturers.
Oh, Raptor runs wide. Raptor, all that hard work gone. Versus dropping him way back, all the way back, right at the end. This is one of those from 0 to 0 scenarios.
They go right to the back of the field just to confirm he is
Nick
down in 15.
Nick with a 3-second time penalty. As I mentioned earlier, these penalties will come into play. In hindsight, that already puts him 3.5 seconds behind Quinton. Raptor now with a 3-second time penalty, pushing too hard.
Just jumping that corner that we were talking about earlier, that corner in turn 1, making too much of the outside there, running a little wide, picking up a penalty. Took a lot of that corner on turn 1 to avoid a collision with the Red Bull. So I wouldn't be surprised if he used up his warnings in one go, and second time he did it, he got a penalty.
And Raptor again with another moment, wing damage into the barriers there. That's the thing,
Nick
one of those
Nick,
good qualifying guys, but unfortunately come race the concentration is not there.
Look at these two, look at the Hondas.
Oh, Nick loses back in seventh. Oh, and Avalanche straight into him. There was nothing Avalanche could have done there. He couldn't have done much. Because Nick spun and it was right in his way. There's no way you can avoid that.
It's not going to improve relations between Red Bull and Renault.
Oh, definitely not. But that was no fault of Avalanche. He was just minding his own business. That Red Bull spun in front of him and there was nowhere to go.
Nothing Avalanche could have done. He's now in a similar situation.
He's fighting with Rotor, going out on the outside.
Comes into the
and Rotor runs wide.
Raptor coming into the pits. Avalanche leaving the pits. For those two at least, their races have changed in a big way. Rotor on the grass. He rejoins at the back of the field. He's down in 13th now.
A virtual safety car at the moment. Virtual safety car.
All of that has handed Quinton the advantage.
Oh, drive-through penalty, spinning under virtual safety car for Nick. Like you just said at the start, Mr. Fernando, you can say what you want. You don't take your formation lap seriously, but that formation lap is good practice for this type of scenario.
You know, the real difference, besides the actual safety car being there.
Oh, 5-second penalty, ignoring yellow flag for Rotor. Oh, and now Nick, it looks like he's passing under yellow. Oh, luckily he gave a position back. Because that would have been another penalty.
Just seems like the guys don't really understand.
And very Nick left the session. I'm going to go out on the limb and say that's a rage quit.
It's definitely, I think it is. I saw also there's another guy,
and Assassin left as well.
CBR Pat also picking up that penalty, passing under yellows.
Ooh,
so a few guys picking up that penalty, maybe not fully understanding the virtual safety car. It is a bit of a tough one.
But there
stay within your delta, really.
Just with safety car, there's a delta showing in the top of your screen, and you must just make sure your delta stays green.
You know, just like with the formation lap, if you can't hope to get around an entire formation lap, then you are never going to do 3 or 4 laps behind the safety car.
That's it.
CBR Pat picking up a 3-second time
So
penalty.
no
Those time
points there.
penalties
So
just,
no points for Nick tonight. That's a confirmed retirement pretty much.
This car is still in. Assassin has returned. Maybe Nick will also return. Let's see. This car is in the lobby. It's not going to be. It's not going to be very happy if he does return, because that car's directly into the pits.
As AI always do when AI claims the car.
The second Renault that had a disastrous start to the race because of a 5 grid place penalty started in 13th.
Oh
Probably
wow!
thought
That Red Bull just drove through. There was no tyres change, nothing. But of course, that would have been the AI just serving that drive-through penalty that's actually located to that car.
So that goes for, if he does not return,
Raptor
will just stay on the track.
116.3.
Fastest lap of the race.
And that's with
set
the
on
hard tyres.
hards. Those are set on hards. So he's obviously going to the end. Can he go to the end? 20?
Avila's also on the hard,
Oh, wow.
so is Malpai. But Malpai started on the hard, so he will obviously have to stop again for a different compound later.
Gonna have to do 29 laps if you plan on finishing on that compound. I think it's a bit of a stretch. We'll see as time progresses. Just 6 laps into this race, Quinton leading by 4 seconds. Had some real battles early on, but race kind of fell on a plateau for him when that Red Bull spun.
Oh, Nemesis and having connection issues, leaving again.
In and out of the lobby, having issues. Down in 13th as it stands. Quinton still leads this race. Nam Bulldog still in second. And then the horse driver, Cowboy 33, is the last of your current podium sitters. DBR, the other Renault, the other Red Bull, sorry, Red Bull, he's in 4th place. Then Malpai,
fastest again.
Second of the horse. They didn't have a fantastic start to the race. He was battling to get into qualifying. He's sitting in 5th, sitting pretty. The horse is looking good, 3rd and 5th. And Assassin joining again. Having a rough time. Oldie Bones, the Williams, 6th place. Good job so far. Started in 13th, he's up to 7th. Zappa doing a good job for Renault. His teammate was doing a fantastic job. His teammate was up in 4th place when was 3rd or 4th when that incident happened, but couldn't do much. He was just a passenger.
Luckily at the wrong time and at the wrong place.
It's the Tronic, he's in 8th. Avalash recovering from that earlier incident, he's down in 9th place. CBR Pat, he's in 10th. He has also picked up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. But we have Nam Assassin who's ghosting around the circuit. In 11th, Raptors in 12th. He should catch up to that ghost car. Don't drive through it. Whatever you do, don't drive through it. He's in and out of the session, and if he comes in here at the wrong time, it's going to be nasty. Wrapped up into 11th. Manu, 13th. And now that ghost car of Nick going down the order, down into 14th, and Rota should pass him shortly.
Electronics retiring. Electronics is out. That's the yellow flag. The safety car, I was just about to say that probably will bring the safety car out.
Hadn't seen a safety car yet, and we've seen a safety car in basically every race I can think of since the last patch. So this will close everything up. This is going to eliminate Quinton's advantage of 7.9 seconds. Gonna bring everybody right back into this.
Oh, 5-second penalty, another one for ignoring a yellow flag.
It gets really messy behind the safety car, and we saw a bit of this last week. Guys just need to remember, it's just 3 laps, it's driving a little bit slower, use it to your advantage. Throw the car in lean mix, charge up your ERS, Use it to your advantage. If your tyres aren't looking so good, go into the pits. Just whatever you do. Don't pass people under the safety car and don't collide with them. Go after your own front wing and you shouldn't have a problem.
I can imagine Jeff in a situation like this. He would say, driver versus Jeff, slow the hell down.
Quinton, your leader, he comes into the pits under safety car.
I think this is something he actually started getting very good at. Timing his stops under the safety car. Last couple of races in, and that's in the Team B league as well as here, when he stops under the safety car. Just timed it right.
I was in a party chat earlier with Raptor, and I told him that if I can give him one word of advice going into the race as if you already know there's going to be a safety.
Yep, and it's happened.
Just keep that in mind. That there's very, very likely at some point going to be a safety car. And if you could work it out perfectly that your one and only pit stop came under safety car, it'd be perfect.
Looks like
as things stand,
he's back in his car.
On track, Bulldog. He is behind the safety car. He leads the race. He leads from Cowboy. And then Quinton, the man who's been quickest so far, he's down in third.
Quinton is pulling a kind of like Italy. Going for a softer tire, stopped very early. So he's obviously going to stop again. Definitely not a one-stop.
Definitely not a one-stop. I think, obviously now, these two in front of him, they have not stopped. They're on mediums, oldish mediums. So when the safety car comes in, he shouldn't have too much. It's a good driver, he knows how to pass, so I don't think he's going to have too many issues getting past, and his plan will be to run away into the distance and give himself enough of a gap to then go and pit for another set of tyres.
That's it. If he can use his soft to get past and then pull away, it can
Started
still
on the
out.
Mediums, right?
That's it.
So he could stretch these as long as possible.
Running very wide there. Quinton almost lost his wing there. The way the guys break.
That's the
stop,
thing.
go, stop, go, stop, go.
You could have the perfect strategy and everything could go perfectly, but if you lose your wing beyond the safety car,
it's all done.
It's all useless, really. You need to probably come in again, change that wing, and come out at the back of the queue. And then it's not passing just two cars, it's passing a whole bunch. 3-second time penalty. A lot of penalties.
Yeah, already, and it's not even 1/3 yet, and it's already penalties galore. $24 laps to go after this one.
Almost at half distance, lap 15 over in tier 1, no safety cars that I've seen on that side. So they're still waiting for their safety car. I'm sure it's coming. Be quite surprised if we had our first race without safety car. They've had 3 retirements. So
we have 1 retirement and 1 disconnect.
We've had 1 retirement.
Two retirements almost.
And that 1 retirement led to that 1 official retirement led to
the safety car, yeah.
Our one and only safety car.
Safety car in this lap, here we go.
You know, he's going to want to get as close as he possibly can, but damn Bulldog. Up to you now to make sure you line this field up as best possible. When's he gonna go? So we need to wait for that.
Hey, Avalanche are just getting all the battle, like everybody colliding with him.
Avalanche, not what you want to see. 5-second time penalty. And now they do go. Quinton gets
Quinton with a much better drive out of that corner, definitely.
They're going to go side by side into turn 1. He backs off.
Oh, and Cowboy runs wide. He could have actually stayed there. He would have had it. So wide Cowboy went.
I think Cowboy didn't expect him to back off. That's why maybe he ran wide, was giving him the room.
Quinton right back on it again, on the gearbox there of the Haas. Yellow flag. That's Rotor.
So you want to get past and run away into the distance.
Oh, and Cowboy is challenging Bulldog. Quentin fought better of it. It was almost a freeway battle into that corner. Just keeping his nose out of that. Make sure he doesn't pick up any damage in the process.
He wants to get into the lead of the race, but he can't rush things.
That's it.
Doesn't want to lose it.
DBR
doesn't want to
out.
lose the win.
DBR retired as well. Second retirement. Oh, Cowboy runs wide again.
Everything a little bit messy at the front. And Quentin just got to be careful. Virtual safety car, yellow flags. And a severe collision.
Penalties just keep coming.
Severe collision.
Virtual safety cars obviously for that DBR retirement.
This will now really be getting... There goes your leader.
Bulldog
your
goes
leader.
in.
That leaves only Cowboy for Quentin to pass. His task has gotten a little bit easier.
There we go, we're back
the virtual
to
safety
racing
car
conditions.
is over. Now we can go. See.
Quentin again with a much better drive. Right on the back of that horse.
Riding on board with Quentin. Cowboy staying in front for now. Just giving him just enough room on the outside.
Just gonna
Stays on the
inside. Oh, Cowboy pushing him wide. That was a bit dirty there. Now Quentin gets a penalty. Cutting cornerman wide side, but he was also pushed a bit there. Oh, Cowboy runs wide again. Quentin's gonna go. Oh, he had to react to that to make sure no contact. Surely this is a much better line. Can he keep it up? He will have the inside of a corner. Cowboy will have to back out, and Quentin takes first place again. Ooh. Can he now use that soft tires and actually build up a gap here?
Crucially now, whenever there's a safety car, whenever there's a virtual safety car, that DRS resets, and you've got to do, I think you've got to do another 3 laps.
And Raptor all the way up to 4th, and he's now hunting for Malpai and Cowboy.
Ooh, cuts that corner in a big way, picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. Really
Raptor right in the back. Raptor's going to have a look on the outside of Malpai. Malpai keeps his line.
Haas holding strong for now, but for how much longer? Raptor wants to get out there in front. Two very different strategies at play here between Raptor and Quentin. One on the hards, one on the softs, and clearly stopping again.
The hard one was a forced stop, having to stop so early thanks to that wing damage. But safety cars also helped him in some way, bring him back into play.
Made up all his track positions under safety car.
And Nick has
going
joined
into the pits.
So probably that might not, maybe that might not have been a rage quit as initially thought. Because the guy with the rage quit won't come back.
So I'm still ghosting for the time being. I'll keep my eyes on this Red Bull, see if it suddenly comes to life again.
Quentin getting away in front, getting on with business. Almost 2.5 second gap there. Raptor staying here. Quentin Luke as fast as 116.2. Raptor still staying here with us, boys.
Can do me a favor, go on board with Malpai. He's just behind his teammate. And imagine what Luther Steiner would be saying about this. These two are way too close together. No Haas cars should be this close together.
Gunther will have a heart attack if he sees the stream footage tonight. Malpai's going to have a look on the inside. Can he make it? Can he pull it off?
Cowboy doesn't fight him too hard. Or does he?
He comes back on the inside. Having a better drive because of a softer tyre, he's going to have the inside line. Ooh. Oh, Malpai runs wide.
Almost clipping the wing off his teammate.
And Cowboy having a bit of a tough time in that sequence of corners going wide again. And while these two are battling at the last Quentin to get away, it's over 3 seconds now. And yet Raptor stays in the hunt of these two Haas boys, waiting for these two to make a mistake.
It's actually the best view you can get is on board with Raptor. You can see these two Haas's in front of you.
That's exactly where we are.
Swinging left and right and doing all sorts of things. Raptor just waiting for that mistake, but needs to keep a distance that if there is a mistake, he's not going to potentially have an avalanche situation in his
No.
hands.
These
Where
two
he
harsh
just
boys
can't
are
do
like
anything.
two fighters in the ring. First the left, then the right, the left and the right, then all over the place. You just swinging for broke.
This is working perfectly for Quinton. He's running away into the
Over 4
distance on that.
seconds now.
On those softs working, getting the most out of them. Raptor still beyond the two
Malpoy going
horses.
on the outside this time. Cowboy breaks later, can save the inside.
Ooh.
And now Malpoy with a cutback. Raptor, but luckily he saw that and he braked. He got out of it. So easily could have been wing damage again.
3-second time penalty for Rotor Turbo. Multiple
Oh,
warnings.
Cowboy runs wide. Malpoy, surely Malpoy will have it this time.
Ooh, Raptor runs
Raptor
wide.
runs very wide there.
Just be
No.
careful.
Probably he's having a sniff here at Cowboy. Because now Raptor and Malpoy is actually on the better tyres. It might be harder, but it's fresher rubber. I think Cowboy is starting to struggle for grip. And as I say that, he dives into the pits. But release Raptor to go after Malpoy now.
They'll have the same set of tyres on. They're both using the hards. So, yeah, they're both using the hards. And Malpoy's tyres are crucially 2 laps older.
Elsewhere, Avalanche is putting number 7 under pressure.
Of course, Raptor just losing it there, coming out of the corner, getting on the power too early. Car getting all squirmish. Needed to get off the power.
And that actually brings all the bones all of a sudden into play. All the bones fighting him right there. Raptor now need to work hard, make up for that. Try to get away from this Williams again, chase at Haas.
Just came out of a corner.
Looks like Nick have reclaimed his Red Bull. He's got his car back.
Back into 7th place. Was in a very demanding part of the race when all of that happened. Just lap 16 of 34, so we're just almost halfway. And
it's pretty much halfway at the end of it.
Haven't seen a second safety car just yet.
Let's just keep it like that for now. Closest battle at the moment is still that Nemesis and Avalanche battle.
And over in Tier 1 looks the leads from Roy Raider and Joff, so some familiar names making up the top 3 over there. Some familiar names making up the top 3 over here as well. Quinton, Malpoy, and then obviously Raptor.
Oh, and Cowboy racking up the penalties now. Avalanche having a go on the inside there of Nemesis, and he makes it stick, at least for now. Runs a bit wide, it gets a 3-second penalty, of course, not just for that, but for a couple of warnings. Nemesis won't back off from him.
I think he's going to have all sorts of penalties. I'm going to try and read you Nick's penalties.
Raptor is actually getting away from Aldibones again. From a moment ago when Aldibones was right on his gearbox, the gap is now touching almost 2 seconds.
Well, Nick actually surprisingly doesn't have that many penalties. He does have 2, so that comes up to 6 seconds. And then that drive through.
But that's the AI car.
His AI did for him. Quinton, your leader, he's got a 3-second time penalty.
Yellow flag again here in the stadium section.
Malpoy, no penalties as of yet.
Zappa having a bit of a moment there.
Raptor on 6 of his own. Holdy Bones, no penalties. Oof, Avalanche.
Ooh. Zappa again with a big moment here in the final corner. Also, Lewis Hamilton stunt from the pit lane entrance onto the track over the grass.
That record goes to CBR Cat. It's not as
Quentin is
bad
in the
as I
pits.
expected.
Quentin is changing, and it's going to be medium tires. He should be fine to finish the race with a set of mediums. Going for the faster or the harder tires, but I'm sure he will be able to finish with us. I mean, as it is, there is already Manu Dietrich on 15 laps on those mediums, so it's possible.
Love to have Raptor here in the com box. I need to just ask him, how do those tires look? Could he possibly take it to the end? I think he'd have to do 29 laps on that set of tires in order to finish. So I have no idea what condition they're in. Obviously some of those laps were done under virtual safety car and under safety car, so could have kept their tire life just a little bit longer, not pushing to the max all the time. Alpine still leads, and as I say that, he dives into the pits.
That will probably release a lap. Yes, there we go.
Knocking off the pace there just in time before he hits that line. Goes on another set of mediums, if my screen is correct, and I think it is. Yep, it's another set of mediums. He'll go to the end of the race now. Will not be planning on seeing his mechanics until the end of the race. Those horses that were in second and third not so long ago, now at 7th and 9th. This is some sort of a comeback drive. Renault in second. I think he was in third or second when the incident happened. Raptor leads. You're in Germany on lap 20 of 34. Over the line now. Short lap 21. We're 6 laps behind our counterparts in tier 1. They're on lap 27 of 34. Avalanche in second, 5 seconds adrift of your leader. And then Oldie Bones 2 seconds adrift of the Renault. But surely Quinton will start coming through now on that fresh set of mediums. Everyone in front of him.
Lap for now.
Everyone in front of him has got old tyres. Oldie Bones 14 laps on a set of mediums. Avalanche 13 laps on a set of mediums. And then Raptor, those hards are going to be in tatters at the end of the race if he has any idea of finishing this race on those tyres. So Quinton holds the advantage for now. And he'll just be hoping for no more safety cars and no more trickery. It's difficult enough to get the perfect strategy. Already had a virtual safety car and a safety car. I've been watching tier 1 close enough to know if they've had a safety car, but I don't think they have because they're on lap 28. Is that Oldie Bones? Yes, it is. Oldie Bones comes into the pits. So that's one less car Quinton's going to have to worry about. He's immediately promoted up into 3rd place. Alpha, he is in 4th. Hasn't given up on 3rd just yet. So that's Quinton in his sights. Alpha and Quinton both on fresh tyres. Alpine getting close and then thinking better of it as they get into that tight right-hander.
McLaren's definitely coasting as well.
And another tight braking point into a left-hander. Gets really close to Quinton. Was slightly later on the brakes than the Toro Rosso driver. Now Quinton just starting to feel the heat a little bit. Runs wide. They enter the stadium section.
Numbledog with penalty. I think this
I
will
need
be
to
an interesting
remember-
fight to the end. Malpai Quinton right to the end. Avalanche surely will stop shortly.
Alpine's tyres just 1 lap newer than Quinton. Avalanche is going to have to stop. Those mediums 15 laps old. Raptor 20 laps on the hards. I predict that if he finishes this race on hards, it's going to have
Another
to do
12 to
29
go
laps.
after this.
Don't know what condition those tyres are in. And if he does, and Quinton catches him with a lap or 2 to go, I really don't think he's going to have the tools to fight him. Look at this, Malpai. Got close last lap, decided against it. This time he goes for it. Up the inside. And Malpai takes 3rd place. Quinton was looking in quite a strong position, and I wasn't following Malpai's strategy properly. He's in a very strong position.
Because both of them are pretty much pitted till the end. They just now need to make sure they finish.
Quinton not in the mood for the fight right now. Still 10 laps to go. The top 3 are Alfa Romeo. Malpai now promoted up into 2nd. Avalanche is in the pits. He comes into that pit garage now. He's stationary. Quinton up into 3rd. Where is Nam Bulldog? He's going over the start-finish line. Should also get promoted. Renault's on its way. Cowboy coming around turn 1. Also gets promoted, as does Nick. So Avalanche losing a whole handful of positions. Might get caught here into turn 1 by Oldie Bones. Oldie Bones too far away, so he'll hold on to that 7th place. A lot of the guys in front of him will have tyres in similar conditions, so it's going to be difficult. He's going to have to catch them on raw pace. Can't really rely on the tyres doing the job.
I believe Nam Bulldog will also be set to go to the end here.
Raptor's done 21 laps on those hards. Nam Bulldog's just under 12. So
I believe Raptor will have to stop again.
if he does another 8 laps. Where is Raptor? Let's have a look where he is on track. He's in sector 2. Gonna keep an eye on him every time he goes through sector 3, because if he goes into the pits, I want to know about it. He's leading this race by 7 seconds.
Still getting away from Malpai, even with those harder and more used tyres. But of course Malpai is now released from Quinton, so he can actually push after Raptor.
6.8, 6.9. So just dropping below that 7-second mark, maybe just starting to take a bite out of that lead. 9 laps to go in this race, and those tyres, I think my math was wrong. I think if Raptor finishes, he's going to have to do 31 laps.
Yep.
Oh, not 29, 31 laps on those tyres, so I don't know.
What, it's another 9, yeah, exactly, correct.
Comes into the pits, he runs wide, so he doesn't have the best pit entry ever. Goes over the gravel. Not going to be happy with that. This is going to promote Malpai
and also
new
Quinton.
leader. Quinton has dropped back a little further back. Ooh, as I say that, huge retirement. Quinton around turn 1 loses the front end. Will this bring out a safety car? It does. It brings out a safety car.
Oh, and we've got a safety car. And both Raptor and the safety car need to make sure they avoid that car. Luckily they did. Huge moment there for Quinton. Actually a good run, a good stint of fortune, unfortunately comes to a sudden end.
This race has just fallen into the hands of Raptor once more. He's now going to have the superior tyre.
He's going to have a superior tyre, correct. He pitted right at the perfect time, and he's going to be on the fresher and the softer tyre when this race resumes again.
when the race begins, he's going to have the soft tyre, and he's going to be the only, if this stays the same, he'll be the only one in the top 8 with a soft tyre. So
of course, Manu Dietrich the other one, because Manu Dietrich also stopped, but yeah, he's still there hovering in the top 10. He also stopped now, but of course he's some way, some distance back to try to make some sort of change to the front.
Who's that? Who's that?
Who's that cat?
Sorry, I'm watching the wrong stream. There was I just saw a Ferrari with a puncher, and yeah, whenever I see a Ferrari with a puncture, whether it's in the game or in life, everything just sort of freezes inside me. Malpai has come out. Oh, look at that. That was clever by Malpai. He acted fast. He acted fast, dived into the pits, and now he's come out just ahead of Raptor, obviously behind the safety car, so this gap doesn't mean much.
Of course, Malpai listens to the stream, obviously he picked up.
That was very quick thinking. He did it just in time. If he had done it a lap later, it would have been too late.
Just to cover off Raptor there.
See, listening to the stream helps, guys. But it's going to be an interesting restart.
The commentators are still better race engineers than Jeff, because we at least give you handy tips.
I'm not a fantastic race engineer, but I'm definitely better than Jeff.
By far.
I think anybody who's watched more than a season of F1 is going to be better than Jeff. Now this safety car really just seems to be going so slowly.
7 laps to go after this.
What's funny is that safety car, that driver is absolutely winding. He's giving it everything that car has got to give. He's doing hot laps around Hockenheim in that map. And from a Formula 1 car's perspective, it's
not fast enough.
It's a Sunday drive. It's ridiculously slow.
Come around to what should be the last lap about safety car.
Just gotta be so careful with this weaving. I just finished watching the first season of Drive to Survive just before the second season comes out, and there was, I can't remember what track it was, but Grosjean busy warming up his tyres behind the safety car, weaving a bit too aggressively and taking himself out behind the safety car.
That was from Azerbaijan a season or two ago.
And I'm just watching Force, and he was weaving there a bit aggressively. Obviously just knows he needs to get some decent tyre warmth and brake warmth for the start of the race, but weaving a bit aggressively, and he just touched the grass on the right hand side, and I just thought of that Grosjean,
Azerbaijan 2018. It was already under the black Haas colours.
Obviously you forget that Drive to Survive was filmed in the 2018 season, so that's already 2 seasons ago. Drive to Survive that's coming out on Friday, that will be based on last season. I'm actually looking forward to that, to see a insider's perspective of that whole Gasly situation. Going to Red Bull and not lasting long. Waiting for the restart. We're going to keep our eyes on the safety car.
McLaren is definitely coasting.
Keep our eyes on the safety car. Keep our eyes on the screen. See if he comes in this lap. Really hope so. It's lap 28 of 34.
Here we go. He's coming in. Malpai's lows for the back up. Just be careful of stop go. Guys at the back actually feels that pair of those that's stopping. They ran into each other here at the back. As Vos had to stop for Malpai, Avelach had to do the same. Oldibos ran into Avelach. Malpai a bit of excessive here on the stop go restart. Had a good start. Vos is in pursuit.
But if you're listening, you're in the perfect scenario, and you've done this 100 times before. This is literally just a 5-lapper. You're on.
Come Raptor, that's just 5-lap style.
He's a 5-lapper specialist, and he's just on the softest tyre. With 5 laps to go, this is basically a 5-lapper with damage on. Just keep your wits about, keep your head down. Stay close to Malphite, and hopefully that mistake will come.
These two are getting away from the guys behind to can't hold on, but of course, just one thing, even if he gets past Malphite, I think Raptor is worse off on penalties.
To give you the results over in P1, Dixter winning the race for Alfa Romeo, was followed by Neuraider in a Mercedes-Benz and Jot for Racing Point in third. So that's your top 3 over in T1. Their race has come to a conclusion. Just actually want to have a look at something over in T1. They had 11 finishes, and from the 11 finishes they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers with penalties. So 3 finishes over in P1 with no penalties. I think we might have less this side. Wouldn't be surprised. Nicely done to all the guys over in Tier 1. But back here we've still got 4 laps to go. We've been a little delayed. We were delayed from the beginning. Already a bit slower off the start in qualifying, and then we've been delayed since that by 2 safety cars and how many virtual safety cars? 1 or 2?
Hey, and penalties keep coming left, right, and center.
Ridiculous amount of penalties. We saw a lot of penalties under that virtual safety car. Just a lot of passing under yellows and stuff like that. Some of the guys need to just maybe look at maybe taking it a little easier behind the safety car, compensating a little bit. A lot of penalties coming out. Don't know if that was a game glitch of any sort or some bad luck. Raptor now doing his best to hold on, but Malphite giving it absolutely everything. 1.2 seconds is the gap. So he's just outside of DRS, and that's where he does not want to be. Avalash, what a drive. He's in 3rd place, doing a great job. It's not over yet. He has to defend from a Ferrari. Ferrari is on the superior tyre and the fresher tyre. So Avalash is going to have his hands full if he intends to hold on to a podium position today. Oldbone still in 5th. Manu just taking a position from Cowboy. He goes up into 6th place. And he has Oldie Bones in his sights. Obviously, just remember, we're gonna finish this race 5 laps after a safety car. So these gaps are not gonna have had enough time to really open up.
With a penalty.
In those 5 laps, I just don't think that these gaps are going to be like open enough, and these penalties are really going to switch this board around to something ridiculous. And I think basically the guy who didn't get penalties could very well win this race, even from 5th or 6th, or potentially more. There's got guys on here with 14, 17, 21 seconds. So I think anyone in the top 10 could win this race if they have absolutely no penalties. Let me just check that for you. Malphite, just to confirm. Oh, Malphite has a 3-second penalty. Raptor. Ooh. Okay, Raptor has an 11-second penalty. Avalash has, I think it's 14 or 17 seconds. My maths isn't that great, I was schooled in Benoni. 8 seconds for Nam Bulldog. Oldie Bones, no penalties. Keep that in mind. Oldie Bones in 4th place, he has no penalties. And I think that means he's technically leading this race. Just keep your eyes on that timing screen, folks. Things are going to be changing. Manu now just going past his teammate, Bulldog, who's ghosting for some reason, obviously having some sort of a connection issue. Oldie Bones, don't know if he listens to the stream, but if he does, keep that car in the yellow, in the white lines. You've got 2 warnings, but no penalties as of yet. And you're in a really strong position. Malpai, Raptor and Avalanche, your 3 leaders, all have a smattering of penalties. Don't know how they... I think Malpai's...
Right, Malpai in the final lap.
Oldie Bones just losing time in the stadium section, spending too much time on that curb. You don't want to climb that curb. Lose all sorts of traction. Malpai on lap 34 of 34. On track, it looks like he's leading this race. Raptor second, Avalanche third, but I guarantee you that when they go over the line, things are going to look somewhat different. And I actually think, Jan, you know what, we have a mystery podium. With half a lap remaining, I can't tell you who's going to be on the podium.
With all the penalties here, funny enough.
I can see the results. I can see the names on track, but... And it's really because of the safety car. Because I mean,
only a few corners left, then we will see how this pans out.
In the midfield, there's 6/10, 1 second, or 5/10, 6/10, 1.5 seconds, so 1/10.
Here we go, Malpai coming around for last corner. Weaving, weaving, around to the start finish line we go.
See, Raptor second, that stays the same for now.
1 and 2 stays the same. What can Avalanche do? No, looks like the top 3 remains unchanged.
Oldie Bones had no penalties. Let's see if he's going to jump a spot now. I think he will.
Yes, he did. He jumped. Avalanche, he jumped. Oldie Bones get promoted to 3rd place.
That would have just hurt if that was my first podium. Oh, damn. But Oldie Bones getting the benefits of driving clean and staying within the lines.
That's it.
You got a podium out of it. There's your winner, Malpai.
See, just keep it clean, stay out of trouble, make sure you don't get penalties. You can still get proper points at the end of a race. Don't give up if things don't go your way.
Look at Avalanche. Avalanche just finished off the podium, and if he had rage quit when that incident happened, that would have been the end of that. So, see, that horse driver looks a bit like Kevin Magnussen.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
The real K-Mag.
Oh, that actually does look a bit like K-Mag. See the Jamaican flag on the F1 podium. That's only when Foss is around. It's the only time you're going to see an example of that.
Matches confirmation, now we finished. Oldie Bones, the only one with no penalty. I mean, if you look from 1 to 14, everybody racked up some sort of penalty. Well done to Oldie Bones, the only penalty-free driver tonight. So
Malpai winning the race from Raptor, followed by Oldie Bones, the only one without penalties. He got the gift of a podium for his troubles. Then Avalanche missing out on the podium, 4th place, Manu in 5th. Nick in 6th, coming back late in the race, Cowboy 7th, Nam Bulldog 8th, Nam Assassin 9th, Road to 10th. Then you got Zappa in 11th, out of the points, CBR in 12th. SA Quinton finished up 13th, DBR 14, and then Electronic, the only official DNF. So that's it from my side. I'll let Johan finish off. Guys, enjoy. It was a great race.
Guys, thank you so much for joining, for watching me. Thanks for support as always. Was definitely one of those unexpected ones. It really only on the last lap pretty much you were able to see who's going to win. Close, penalties added to that. or not the drivers we predicted who's going to go all out there. At least one of the three that we predicted was there, finished second. But yeah, some good racing. Just some guys need to work on those penalties as well. I know Hockenheim's not easy, tight corners, but still, you need to look at those penalties because you're actually giving your position away unnecessarily. With that said, that's your thought for a week. Work on those penalties. Try to keep it clean. Save yourself that extra time you're giving away. And until next time, so of course next week, same time, same place. Cheerio.
Cheers guys and enjoy.